Have you ever felt that nagging suspicion someone close to you isn't being completely honest? It's a gut feeling that something's off, but you can't quite put your finger on it. Recognizing signs of dishonesty is crucial in our relationships. In this video, we'll explore key signs that someone might be hiding something from you. These signs we're about to discuss can transform how you perceive interactions with others, helping you trust your instincts and protect yourself from deception. The hidden truth, unveiling deception. It's not just about catching someone in a lie. It's about protecting your emotional well-being and fostering healthier connections. Whether it's a friend, family member, or romantic partner, understanding these signs can help you navigate complex social situations with more confidence. Verbal clues. The power of words. Now that we're tuned in to the subtle art of deception, let's turn our attention to the power of words themselves. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to talk endlessly about nothing, while others clam up at the slightest probing? These verbal cues can be powerful indicators that someone might be hiding something from you. Let's explore two key signs that could signal dishonesty in conversation. The first is excessive detail. When someone provides an abundance of unnecessary specifics, it might be a tactic to distract you from the truth. They're essentially burying the lie under a mountain of information, hoping you'll lose sight of what's important. On the flip side, we have short, vague responses. This is the opposite approach, where the person offers minimal details to avoid getting caught in a lie. They might give brief answers or deflect questions, making it difficult for you to verify their story. Interestingly, research suggests that truthful answers tend to be longer and more vivid than lies. In fact, a study found that people trained to recognize lies improved their accuracy from 61% to 70%, after learning that liars often provide shorter, less detailed responses. So how can you use this information in your everyday interactions? Pay attention to the level of detail in someone's responses. If they're providing an excessive amount of information about trivial matters or being suspiciously vague about important points, it might be worth exploring further. One effective strategy is to encourage elaboration. Ask open-ended questions that prompt the person to provide more information. If they're telling the truth, they'll likely add verifiable details to their story. However, if they're lying, they might struggle to maintain their narrative when pressed for additional information. It's important to note that these verbal clues aren't foolproof indicators of deception. The cognitive load associated with lying can sometimes lead to inconsistencies in a person's story. They might take longer to respond or repeat your questions to buy time for crafting their answers. Remember, effective liars often say just enough to be believed, but no more. They attempt to tell the same story, in the same order, each time to reduce the risk of contradictions. By being aware of these patterns, you can become more attuned to potential discrepancies in someone's account. When probing further into someone's story, it's crucial to do so without appearing accusatory. Use a curious, non-threatening tone and ask questions that naturally flow from the conversation. This approach is more likely to encourage honest responses and maintain open communication. Body language. The silent revealer. Imagine being able to detect dishonesty without a single word being spoken. The next part of our journey into uncovering hidden truths takes us beyond language, into the realm where our bodies unconsciously reveal what our minds try to conceal. Are you ready to see people in a whole new light? Let's explore two key nonverbal indicators that might suggest someone is hiding something: avoiding eye contact and physical signs of nervousness. These subtle cues can often speak volumes about a person's inner state, even when their words say otherwise. Have you ever noticed a sudden change in someone's eye contact pattern during a conversation? While it's commonly believed that avoiding eye contact is a clear sign of lying, the reality is a bit more nuanced. Research shows that if someone who typically maintains eye contact suddenly looks away when discussing certain topics, it could indicate discomfort with deception. However, it's important to note that some liars might actually try to maintain more eye contact than usual, aware of the common belief that avoiding eye contact signals dishonesty. Physical signs of nervousness, such as fidgeting, can also be telling. But here's where it gets interesting. Liars might actually fidget less than truth-tellers as they try to control their behavior. It's all about noticing deviations from a person's baseline behavior. If someone who's usually calm and composed suddenly starts playing with their hair or tapping their foot, it could be a sign that something's amiss. While these body language cues can be helpful, it's crucial not to rely on them exclusively. Skilled liars can often control their nonverbal cues, making it challenging to determine honesty based solely on physical signs. As one expert noted, paying attention to how body language changes from a person's baseline behavior can be a more reliable indicator of deception than any single cue. It's also essential to consider cultural differences when interpreting body language. What might be seen as a sign of deception in one culture could be perfectly normal in another. For instance, in some cultures, direct eye contact is considered disrespectful, while in others, it's a sign of honesty and engagement. So how can you use this information in your everyday interactions? The key is to observe multiple cues in conjunction, rather than focusing on a single sign. Pay attention to clusters of behaviors and how they deviate from a person's typical demeanor. And remember, context is everything. Consider the situation, the person's cultural background, and your existing knowledge of their usual behavior. To effectively read body language, try to observe subtly without making the other person feel like they're under scrutiny. Look for changes in their posture, facial expressions, and gestures as you discuss different topics. Are they suddenly crossing their arms when you bring up a specific subject? Do they start touching their face or neck more frequently? By honing your ability to read these nonverbal cues, you're adding another valuable tool to your arsenal for detecting potential dishonesty. However, it's important to approach this skill with caution and empathy. Body language is complex and misinterpretations can happen. Use this knowledge as a guide to help you navigate conversations and relationships more effectively, not as a definitive lie detector. Emotional manipulation, the subtle art of deception. While body language can reveal much, some deceivers have mastered a far more insidious art. Have you ever felt a gnawing doubt about your own perceptions, even when faced with clear evidence? The next stage of deception goes beyond the physical, targeting the core of your emotional reality. Welcome to the world of emotional manipulation, where the very feelings meant to connect us can be twisted to mislead and manipulate. Next, in our exploration of deception, we'll uncover 3 powerful signs that someone might be hiding something from you. Defensiveness, gaslighting, and emotional feigning. These manipulative tactics are often employed to deflect suspicion and maintain a web of lies, making them particularly challenging to detect. Let's start with defensiveness. When confronted, a person who's hiding something may become combative or accusatory, shifting the focus away from their actions. They might respond to your concerns with phrases like, "Why are you always so suspicious?" or "You're making a big deal out of nothing." This defensive stance serves as a shield, protecting their secrets by making you question your own motivations. Gaslighting takes this manipulation a step further. It's a tactic where the liar attempts to make you doubt your own reality or sanity. You might hear phrases like, "You're just being paranoid," or "That never happened. You must be imagining things." These statements can be incredibly damaging, eroding your confidence in your own perceptions and making it harder to trust your instincts. Emotional feigning is perhaps the most sophisticated form of deception. Skilled liars can convincingly display false emotions to manipulate others. They might shed tears to garner sympathy or express outrage to shut down further questioning. This emotional manipulation can leave you feeling confused and unsure about your own feelings and reactions. So, how can you protect yourself from these subtle yet powerful forms of deception? The key lies in trusting your intuition. Many people report that their gut feelings often signal when something is off in a conversation, indicating potential dishonesty. As one expert puts it, the best detector you have for your partner's truth and honesty is your own intuition. If your gut tells you something isn't right, it's important to pay attention to those feelings. Maintaining strong emotional boundaries is crucial when dealing with potential manipulation. Be aware of your own feelings and recognize when someone is trying to influence them. If you feel guilty for questioning someone's honesty or find yourself constantly doubting your own perceptions, it might be a sign that you're being manipulated. Remember, a common tactic used by manipulators is to redirect focus onto your perceived flaws or issues. They might say things like, "You're too sensitive," or "You always overreact." Don't let these statements derail you. Stand firm in your right to ask questions and seek clarity in your relationships. It's important to approach these situations with care and empathy. Not every defensive reaction or emotional display is a sign of deception. Sometimes people might genuinely feel hurt or misunderstood. The key is to look for patterns of behavior and trust your instincts when something feels consistently off. Trusting your instincts. The path to clarity. As we've explored these 7 signs of dishonesty, it's crucial to remember that no single behavior definitively proves someone is lying. Context matters, and these indicators should be part of a broader assessment. Trust your instincts, but also seek verification when possible. As psychology professor Christian L. Hart notes, one of the easiest ways to avoid being tricked is to verify their claims. Developing your emotional intelligence can help you navigate complex social situations and recognize potential deception. By being aware of your feelings and those of others, you're better equipped to foster open communication and resolve misunderstandings. Remember, awareness is power. By understanding these signs, you're not just protecting yourself, you're creating opportunities for more honest, trusting relationships. As you move forward, consider how this knowledge might transform your interactions and lead to deeper, more authentic connections.